we need to talk about the Integra. Okay, before we start the video, guys, full disclaimer, I do not know anything about this car. I am simply reading stuff off of articles online. There isn't a lot of information out on this vehicle, so we're just gonna, bear with me. We're just gonna have to talk about this in the comment section. So if you do know more about it, or if there's more reveal coming out, let's add on to it just like we did for the 11th generation Civic Si video. Let's do the same thing for this one, because you guys are really active on that comment section. The 2023 Acura Integra, we got catfished hard. We got catfished hard. Everybody was thinking it was going to be a coupe, or at least like a sports sedan. I don't think anybody thought it was going to be a hatchback. I didn't think it was going to be a hatchback, or a liftback is what they're calling it. I really didn't think it was going to play out the way it did. The real video came out, and I'm gonna play it in the background, that way you guys can see it if you guys haven't. So these are just glimpses of it from when it came out, and just looking at the body length and style, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It's not a bad looking car for being an Acura, but the Integra name lineup does not match the body style of the car, especially the size of it, because we are all used to having the Integra as a small, lightweight, high revving, naturally aspirated engine. Now, to say that it was going to come back as a naturally aspirated engine, it's kind of a long shot, because Honda and Acura, I mean, both same company, have had really good success with their turbocharged engines lately. I mean, look at the L series, the 1.5 liter. Hate it or love it, this engine lineup has been nothing but good reliability, good on performance parts. You can make good power. It gets good MPG. It comes turbo from factory. The aftermarket support is huge on these cars. Yes, you might get a lemon here and there, but every company has lemons in their lineup. Sometimes it's just a hit and miss. But for majority of the part, Honda has been doing pretty good with this engine. The reason why I bring up the engine is because that is most likely what the biggest downfall was for this car, is that they are using the 1.5 liter from the Civic lineup. And it's not that I'm very disappointed in them using a Civic engine. It's more of they decided to use the 1.5 versus a 2.0. The 1.5 liter engine, like I mentioned before, it's not a bad engine. It has its flaws, but it's good. It gets good MPG, comes turbo, its reliability is okay, and it reacts to aftermarket parts pretty well. And it makes decent power when you tune it as well, while still keeping the good MPG. The problem with that is that they have not released any spec numbers on the power, but everybody's speculating it's going to be around 200 horsepower. According to what the 11th generation Civic, when it came out, when it was debut, a lot of people hated on it, and then when they got the spec sheet, everybody was outraged because it lost 5 horsepower. But on the graph sheet, it does react 500 sooner and 500 RPMs later than it does with the 10th gen. So technically, on paper, the 11th generation SI is better than the 10th generation SI. All opinions on the side, like, this is not opinionated, but if I use that right, but on paper, statistically on paper, the facts, 11th generation SI is better than the 10th generation SI in every way, especially for track given, free spirited drive around the back roads and everything else in between. Now, if your preference is the 10th gen, that's different. But anyways, back to this. Honda knows that the L series is doing really good, so they decided to bring this over to the Integra. What sucks is that everybody thought that it was going to be a detuned 2.0 turbo engine from the K20C lineup, which is what is in the Type R and inside the Accord. The Accord has 2 different engine variants, which is the 1.5 liter and the 2.0 turbo, which is very, very good, because now you have different trim levels according to the spec sheet with this. Now, again, this is just the prototype. We don't know for a fact that this is going to be what they are using on the market. For all we know, they might swap out the tail lights a little bit. They might make the body style just a little better, a little different. But as far as we know, this is what the Integra is probably going to be looking like. It's going to be a liftback hatchback. I'm going to call it a hatchback, but it is basically a hatchback. And what I don't like about it is that everybody and their mom was saying, we need a Civic hatchback SI. We need a Civic hatchback SI. Well, this is it. This is literally everything that the Civic SI has. This got carried over to this hatchback, liftback, whatever you want to call it. So it still has the LSD. It has the same 1.5 liter. It comes in a 6-speed manual or automatic transmission. It has the and I'm gonna say like this because it has the Acura luxury and reliability and comfort. So when you're looking at the Integra versus the Civic, because when you're looking at the Civic hatchback and the Acura Integra, by far Acura is gonna be more superior when it comes to luxury, comfort, adjustability, and everything else in between when it comes to those categories. But if you just want something that's gonna be simple, Civic hatchback. If you want something more luxury, Acura Integra. At least that's what it's looking for. I do like that they did keep it a 6-speed manual, but I did hate that they're calling it the Integra because like I mentioned earlier in the video, it's not what we're used to with the Integra. Look, I understand because it's all business and everything. I don't know how the business works. For my personal opinion, they went with this one because business standpoint, it was smarter for them to do this, to at least bring back the Integra. I am speculating, and this is just me speculating, that they said this is the base Acura Integra. Now, because they mentioned the base, that means they might bring in the Type S into the lineup because Acura is really well known for having Type S's. Now, if they do the Type S, I'm hoping that they do choose the 2.0 turbo engine from the Honda Accord. That engine was pretty good, really reliable, still gets good gas, and it reacts good to mods, and everybody likes that 2.0 Accord. And look, I know it shows similarities to the Type R engine, but I'm just calling it the Accord engine because they share similarities, but they're also different at the same time. Everybody loves that engine. Everybody was saying that's what the Honda Civic Si should have came. Now I'm hoping that that's what the Integra Type S is gonna come with. The downside about that is the money. The base Acura Integra, they are speculating, and this is what they made on the reveal, it is gonna start around $30,000.
Priced around $30,000.
That's a lot of money for essentially a Civic rebadge. Like, I'm sorry to say it, and look, I know there's more to it, but we got catfished hard. Everybody was thinking that the concept, it was going to be coupe, it was going to be sedan, but nobody thought it was going to be the liftback hatchback. And it's not that it looks bad, it's just that, to me, I also do like the ILX. I also do like the TLX. Like, I like the RDX, like I like the front version. I like the front plate of Acura. Like I like how it looks. You can tell it's an Acura just by the grille itself and even the headlights majority of the time. But the rear is what gets me. It's too much of a Civic, and they are sharing so many similarities to it. If they're keeping the 1.5 liter in here from launch, because like I said, this is the prototype, anything can change. I'm hoping that they do at least raise the power up a little bit, just like they should have done with the 11th generation Civic. When the 11th generation Civic got debuted, with SI got debuted, everybody was sad that it was 200 horsepower. Everybody was thinking it was gonna be like 230 horsepower, 240. They can do it. The Civics been proven to be able to do it reliable wise. But they chose not to. They chose to give it a different tune. It does have VTEC in it, which is nice, but it's not like the old school VTEC. It has it on one side. I can't remember what side it is, but it's either on the cam side or the exhaust side. And that's the same engine that's going into the Acura. So the problem with it being $30,000 is that if they do decide to come out with a Type S sometime in the future, depending on how this lineup goes, you're probably looking at closer to 40 grand, knowing Acura, because it's an Acura, maybe even a little bit more for the Type S. At that point, you're already in Type R territory. So, and that's already a hatchback. So they're gonna have to figure something out if they don't want to step on the Type R, because the 11th generation Type R is gonna come out. So we don't know. As far as we know, that it is keeping the front wheel drive lineup. It's not a bad looking car, but it's not what we intended, what we're used to seeing. That's what it is. We're not used to it. We're not used to seeing the Integra be something this beefy and this bulky. We're used to it being lightweight. So it is going to be, and I'm reading this right off of it real quick. It shares a chassis and powertrain with the latest Honda Civic. The 2023 Integra hatchback will go on sale in the US starting sometime in 2022. Replacing the ILX in the Acura lineup, the Integra is primed to cater to both nostalgia and bus and young enthusiasts alike. Look, the thing that I don't like about this reveal is that they kept saying it's going back to its roots. We're aiming for the young audiences from the early 2000s. We want to bring a new audience back in. Like, this is not going back to its roots, dude. If Acura thinks adding a 6-speed manual to one of the lineup is going back to its roots, it's not. Like, it's not. And again, I'm not bashing on this car. It's just, it's not what we wanted. And like I said, we got catfished hard. This is basically the Civic hatchback SI everybody wanted. The 2023 Integra rides the same platform under the Civic SI and shares its 1.5 liter turbocharged 4 along with its limited slip differential. No power output was given, but we're guessing it will make at least 200 horsepower. It better make at least 200 horsepower for 30 grand. Also making a comeback and its available 6-speed manual transmission. The first Acura to feature a stick shift since the 2015 ILX. Also, the Civic Type R's rev matching feature on tap and automatic transmission will also be offered, further differentiating it from the stick-only Civic Si. Basically, if you want to get a Civic Si and an automatic, this is what you should get. The nice thing about it is going to come with a big brake package. It is going to come with 19-inch wheels is what I read. I might be completely wrong. Who knows, maybe they might tune the 1.5 liter to put out more power and rev a little bit higher so that it makes more sense to us to want to get it. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities out there, guys, but again, this is just the prototype. So at the end of the day, we really don't know what their final outcome is going to be with this car. This makes me just want to pick up an older Integra more than like ever. Bottom line, guys, it's gonna sell regardless if you buy it or not. Would I buy it? Probably not. Am I gonna go see it? Definitely yes. And when more information comes out, we'll go ahead and talk about it more. Anyways, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that like button. We're getting close to 19,000 subscribers. Really awesome. So thank you all for everybody tuning in. And I will see you guys in another video. You guys have a good day. Peace.